Welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity Today, hosted by Todd DeVoe, where planning meets reality.
Good morning, or good afternoon, and I am Todd DeVoe, and I'm the Director of Emergency Services for one of the most innovative mass notifications companies in the world, called Titan HST. And I've been involved responding to emergencies and disasters since 1989. And well, in addition to working with Titan, I am an educator teacher at the post-secondary level, and learning and sharing what I learn is a passion for me. So welcome to Titan HST's Business Continuity. Today, we're together. We'll continue to learn. So today we're talking about climate change and how it impacts businesses. And well, are you ready? You know, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news or not. And to my friends and family that are back east in New England and Long Island and the part of the world, they got pummeled this weekend, and they're still dealing with some of the aftermath of a hurricane that came in. And they, even though it got downgraded to a tropical storm, there's been reports of flooding and damage. I have not heard if there's been any loss of life, and hoping that there's not. But it's been one of those times, and this is the first time in about 30 years that they got hit this hard. And I remember as a kid, we got hit by a couple of hurricanes over the years. That was a big deal for us down on Long Island. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely something interesting, especially when you start hitting that super compact metropolitan areas with lots of these floods. You know, over the last year and a half, we've seen how COVID-19 has impacted our daily lives, and we had to make the shift on how to conduct business. And so the idea of pivoting for disasters is something that, well, we're kind of getting used to. And a couple of things that happened is how our supply chain has been affected, you know, how we communicate with our employees, stakeholders, and clients. A study published in 2012 warned prudent that the expected climate changes are coming, and in the next few decades, and well, we're sitting in it right now. And then to include this is unexpected and potentially disruptive single events, right? Unexpected and potentially disruptive single events. Well, we're seeing these things happen today, and now we're also seeing the cascading events that are occurring, including these storms during the pandemic. And these are some of the things that we had to really plan for as business continuity professionals, as emergency managers. These are the items that we're planning for, are these complex compounding events. You know, also in the news has been how COVID-19 has impacted the automobile industry. And this is, you know, over in Asia, where they're making the chips for cars, and the fact that the supply chain has now been disrupted because they have slowed down the production of manufacturing computer chips that are going into cars. Ford here in the United States has shut down one of their F-150 plants, the largest selling or the most popular selling vehicle that they have. Matter of fact, it's the most popular selling vehicle right now in the world, I guess, according to the BBC yesterday, was the Ford plants, was the Ford F-150 in that plant. And so they're shutting down the plant, not because they don't have other raw materials, and they have the workers, that none of those issues are a problem. It's the supply chain of the chips coming in. Now, that has also impacted the motor vehicle sales. Well, meaning that normally a car that's sitting on a lot was sitting for about 15 to 20 days on a lot. Today, the cars that are sitting on a lot are there for less than 10 days. Now, how does that also impact your business? Well, if you need vehicles for your business, you're going to pay more. The average price that the dealer was making, or the average sale commission, I suppose, was about $2,000 per vehicle last in 2018, 2019. Right now, they are averaging about $4,000 per vehicle because the vehicles are so scarce at this point because of this computer chip problem that they have now been able to get top dollar and more for their vehicles. So some of the detailed deals that used to be around, $2, $20 over invoice, things like this, those are gone because supply and demand. And then how does that impact how you do your business, how you make decisions on purchasing or leasing cars for that matter? The lease have gone up as well as sales because of the scarcity now of the vehicles. So we have to really kind of put those things into play. And what is causing this? Well, not necessarily climate change when it comes to COVID, but definitely the world supply chain that is being impacted by COVID-19. So, is your organization looking forward or looking and resilient, right? How far down the horizon are you looking specifically for what your business is doing? And this is one of the things that as business continuity professionals, as emergency managers for businesses, especially when it comes onto the business side, is we have to be looking globally at what is impacting, because everything that happens globally today, it will impact your business at home, right? Do you have a plan? Are you working towards having that plan written up? What does your plan look like? Right now, I want to take a look at this, the plan and looking forward, or forward looking, if you will. They sound like they're the same thing. Well, they're not, because the plan is that long term strategic plan of what happens when a disaster occurs. They could be it's very non-specific, right? We want to look at the all hazards approach. So you're treating COVID-19 as if you're treating a tropical storm that is hitting your East Coast operations, plants, and businesses today, right? In your plan, you want to also address the human aspect of it too, right? I have a friend of mine he's West Coast operations, but he has people on the East Coast, and he sent a text out on Friday saying, "Hey, look, I understand the storm is coming in. You might want to make sure that you guys are all taken care of, your family's taken care of. Don't worry about next week. We'll make it work." Well, that's absolutely a great thing to do as a leader, to look forward towards your people to make sure they're taken care of. But on the other end of it, who is going to make up for that downtime that you're going to have on one side of operations that you do over here? And even if you need to, right? Can you take a week off of production or work without having really any interruptions in your business? And then how do you communicate that with your clients, right? How does that go out to them regarding, okay, listen, we have a disruption that is occurring. This is what it is. This is what our time plan is to get outside of that disruption. And you can go ahead and plan for those, right? You can plan for week, 2 week, 3 week, 1 month disruptions. How does that impact the business flow? How does it impact your supply chain? How does it impact your clients and your stakeholders? And are you communicating that also with your investors? And those are some of the things that need to really be inside that plan. That goes back onto, what are you using for communications, right? Now, I work for a communications company. It's called Titan HST, and this is what we do for a living. We make sure that you're able to communicate flawlessly and seamlessly with your stakeholders, with your clients, with those that work for you. The whole gambit. It's very easy to use. It's two-way communications. What we have with our system, are the systems that you're using two-way communications? Is it easy to use? Does it go across all platforms? And for instance, for Titan HST, we have the ability across, whether it's computer, phone, it doesn't make a difference what type of phone it is, whether it's Mac or iPhone, I should say, or Android, right? We can have video conversations, almost like what we're doing here today, with the system that we're using here to communicate with you, right? And so having those communications plans and having the ability to communicate, those are two key functions, right? Your communications plan is who has the ability to push out the message, right? My recommendation for that would be, bring it down to your lowest level that you can bring it down to, as far as pushing out information, and allowing that communications to happen. Because if you have to wait for, say, the CEO, or the vice president, or that level of director, right? There could be times when there's an emergency communication that needs to go out that won't go out because they need to have that trigger pulled by somebody higher, and then you're really missing out on this. So looking at what your communications plan is, who can use it, who's trained to use it, do you have templates already put into your system that somebody can just pluck and pull and put into the system? What else? What documentation do you have within your communication system that people can jump into? Having that communications plan is critical. Now you're looking at organizations from across the world that have solid communications plans for emergency communications, whether it's entertainment industry, whether it's the sporting industries, whether it's hotels and resorts. You have manufacturers that have great communications plan, big companies and small as well, right? Whether you're 100 people in your office, or if you're 10 people in your office, if you have more than a couple that are in there that aren't related, you really need to have a good communications plan back and forth to your stakeholders, to your customers, to your employees. And then last part of this thing is, are your employees ready at home? Going back to my friend when he made that text this on Friday out to his people over on the East Coast, are they ready? Right? And why is it important to have a ready home program for your organization? Well, it's important because if your employees are ready at home, right, that they have food, water, their home is, flood proof if you can, earthquake. Well, it can't really be earthquake proof, but at least earthquake ready. If they're in the WUI, are they ready for wildland fires? Those type of events that are happening, if they are ready and ready to respond to and ready to be to evacuate if they need to, they're going to be a better employee for you as well. And the side note on that is, I really think that you should take a look at developing a ready home program for your organization, for your employees, because not only is it good for the employees, it's great for the employees, right? It's a great benefit, but it's also, at the end of the day, going to be great for you as an organization, knowing that your employees are safe and sound, especially since now that we are, for the most part, with COVID happening, have people working from home all over your areas. They're no longer coming to one location. And what does that look like? So I think that's critical for you to have a ready home program as well. So just to kind of go over what we went over today. Make sure you have a plan, right? Make sure you're forward looking and resilient by looking at what's going on in the world, in the news, that you are able to respond to the events that are happening, not just in your local backyard here, right? But also things that are happening across the world or across the country, depending on how large your organization is. Like I said, things that are happening over in Asia are impacting businesses here in the United States, right? Again, it's like I said, have that plan. Have a communications plan, and have a really great platform such as Titan HST that you can use for communications during a disaster. And have a ready home program for your employees, because without your employees, your business, it really can't function. So anyway, everybody, thank you so much for joining us here today at Titan HST's Business Continuity Today. And follow us on your favorite podcast player. And hey, follow us on Twitter for a bit, right? See what we're saying out there. Like us, follow us. I'd love to have your interaction over there, and look forward to seeing more stuff out there as well. All right, until next time, stay safe and stay hydrated.